Hi guys, hope you're all well. Welcome to the second video in the series on double stops for violin. If you haven't watched the first video in the series yet, then go and do that now. The link will be in the description box below. Today we'll be learning about the intervals between each note in a double stop. We'll also be looking at fourth finger double stops and also 3 and 4 string double stops. Each time I change fingers, a different interval is formed. An interval is simply the distance between two notes. The interval between each open string on the violin is a fifth. You can work out the interval between two notes by calling the first note 1 and then counting up to your second note. I'll now demonstrate this playing the first half of the A major scale, starting from open A and finishing on the E string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the interval for the double stop open A and open E is a fifth. When I change from open A to finger 1 on A and add that into my double stop, the interval narrows to a fourth. Then the interval narrows to a third. Then to a second. Then when playing both opens again, I'm back to a fifth. Then when I add my first finger on the E, I've got a sixth. Then to a seventh. Then to an octave. You can form intervals using different variations of fingers, but for today's exercise, each interval will comprise of one open string played with a finger note on a neighbouring string. Now we're going to play the double stop scale from the previous lesson while counting the intervals in our head. Now we're going to try experimenting with fourth fingers as well. With the lower string playing a fourth finger and the higher string playing an open, we form what is called unison, meaning the same note. Play fourth finger on the A string. Play open E. Play both of those notes one after another separately. Now play them both as a double stop. You may notice that the timbre, meaning the quality of the sound, is slightly different when playing a fourth finger note compared with playing an open string note. If you play a fourth finger on the higher of the two strings, then we form a ninth, which is one note beyond an octave. So I'm playing fourth finger on the E string now, and I'm going to add that to the A string as well. Next, we're going to try playing double stops across 3 or more strings. These type of double stops are also known as chords. Because of the angle of the bridge, it's not really possible to play more than 2 notes on the violin at once. But what we can do is change the angle of our elbow to produce the effect of multiple notes played at once. We'll start by trying a 3-string chord using the open strings D, A and E. Bow the lower 2 strings, D and A, and then halfway through the bow, angle your elbow down a bit so that you hit the A and E strings instead. Bear in mind that we should never lose the A string throughout the whole bow stroke. It's very easy to tip the bow too far when we move on to the higher 2 strings and lose the A string, so make sure you only angle that bow slightly downwards. If you're finding this difficult, then break the double stop into 2 separate bows. Try it first with 2 down bows with a retake in between. Next, try it with a down and an up bow. Then try it as 1 down bow, but pause in the middle of the bow between each double stop. We're now going to form a D major chord using the 3-string double stop. Simply place your first finger on the E string and play the pattern again using the same 3 strings. Now we're going to try a chord using all 4 strings. We'll need to separate this into 2 parts, first playing the lower 2 strings and then moving quickly to the higher 2 strings. Start off by playing the G and D together as a down bow and then retake before playing the A and E string. Now play it with 2 down bows with a pause in between and no retake. Now try it with no pausing of the bow, slurring the lower and the higher notes together. Now try moving more quickly to the top 2 notes. Again, careful that you don't tip the elbow too far down and miss out the A string. Now we're going to form a G major chord by adding finger notes to the top 2 strings. Place finger 1 on the A string and finger 2 close to it on the E string. Now repeat the same bowing as before to form the chord of G major. By playing the D major chord followed by the G major chord, we form a chord sequence known as a perfect cadence. More on cadences in another video. Make sure to fully retake your bow before the second chord so that both chords start at the heel of the bow. Once you've mastered the double stops and chords in this video, you could try experimenting by putting some of the other chords you've learned together in a sequence. I hope you have fun with this and I'll see you in the next video. Keep playing!